truth with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams.
Reason and accountability.
The voice of reason.
Have you ever been told to just move on or get over it after experiencing something traumatic? If you have, you know that it's not that simple. Trauma isn't just a bad memory that we can choose to forget or a wound that heals naturally over time. It's much more complex than that, affecting both the mind and the body in profound ways. I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, a psychiatrist, and I make mental health education videos. Today, I want to talk about why trauma isn't just something you can just get over and why understanding the science behind it is essential for healing. When we talk about trauma, we're not just talking about the event itself, but the lingering impact that it has on your brain and body. To understand why trauma is so hard to get over, we first need to look at what happens in the brain and body when we experience something traumatic. Trauma is a complex psychological and physiological response to experiences that overwhelm a person's capacity to cope. It's often associated with a single life-threatening event like accidents or assaults, but trauma can also result from prolonged exposure to chronic stressors, such as abuse, neglect, or systemic oppression. Psychologically, trauma occurs when an event or a series of events profoundly impacts a person's sense of safety, identity, and worldview. It's important to note that trauma is subjective. What's traumatic for one person may not be for another, depending on factors like personal history, support systems, and neurobiological resilience. I talk more about how to build up your resilience in another video that I'll have linked in this video. When you experience trauma, several key areas of your brain are impacted. The amygdala, often referred to as the brain's fear center, becomes hyperactive. This heightened state of alertness is why trauma survivors often feel anxious or on edge even when there's no immediate danger. The amygdala remains in a constant state of vigilance, scanning for potential threats and making it hard to relax or feel safe. Your hippocampus, which is central to forming and retrieving memories, can actually shrink in response to trauma. And this structural change affects how memories are stored and recalled, which is why people with trauma often experience fragmented, distorted, or intrusive memories of the event. And traumatic memories don't get processed the same way that other memories do. Instead, they get stuck and resurface as vivid flashbacks or nightmares. Then there's the prefrontal cortex, which is normally responsible for rational thinking, decision-making, and impulse control. Trauma survivors have reduced activity in the prefrontal cortex, making it difficult to regulate emotions, concentrate, or make decisions, especially in stressful situations. Trauma doesn't just affect the mind, it affects the body as well. When we experience trauma, our body's natural response is to activate our fight, flight, or freeze mode, which is a natural survival mechanism. And this response results in the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline.
Hey, man, listen. Dr. Tracy Marks? Listen, Dr. Tracy Marks? Yo, she don't be playing. She be cooking with the rarest grease. You're listening to the VOR live on KBLA Talk 1580 in the heart of Lamert Park. You know how we get down over here. The roughest, toughest topics on relationships in the world. We have to have these kinds of discussions because so many people have no idea of what it means to be in a relationship and all that comes with it. It's not just the superficial things, the traveling, the sex, the compatibility, it's way more than that. There's some spiritual work that has to be faced, right? Relationship is the place to face yourself. It is the place to confront yourself, right? And if you have an insecure attachment style, it's like having a series of directives for how you're going to interact intimately. And if you're unaware of those, you don't know how they show up, right? The self-erasure economy. Why avoidance, barter, competence for connection. Oh my goodness. Barter competence for the connection they secretly crave. And avoidant is not really going to let you know that they really want it like that. They crave connection. But what it means to stay in connection is their work. Does that make sense? Psychological insight. Dismissive individuals trade vulnerability for performance, mistaking autonomy for safety. My goodness. When you're dealing with dismissive avoidant types, safety matters. Am I safe to be me? Is it safe to be here? That's according to Babette Rothschild, that last little piece. Your philosophical insight. Krishnamurti's choiceless awareness unmasks independence as a conditioned escape from fear, right? I can do it myself. Can't trust people anyway because they lost trust in the first people who imprinted them, right? This is why they're dismissive avoidant, because they had to learn how to go inside and self-soothe and give themselves what they weren't getting from the primary caregiver unit. If it was two people. Your spiritual, metaphysical insight. The Sufi reframes true strength as sincere presence, not strategic withdrawal. If you've ever dealt with an avoidant type, the strategy behind, they had already made up their mind they was leaving. They had already set up a whole nother situation while y'all still friends on the phone. While y'all still... It's not funny, but here's your clinical and empirical insight. Attachment research shows avoidant suppression elevates cortisol and shortens repair cycles despite outward calm. Goodness, this is a lot. We're talking about the attachment styles, in particular, the insecure attachment styles. Now, let me bring my caller on. I got to get him in here.
Hey, how you doing, Zoe?
J-Dub, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Actually, that first clinician that you played that video on, it caught my attention when she was making a reference to how the person was constantly thinking about what the other person would want and, worrying about the other person. And she made the reference that you got to really think about what your mind wants in order to regulate yourself. And the thought crossed my mind that when all that was taking place, I said, well, this person has an overreactive imagination. And so I would like to pose the question, is that part of the issue or the illness imagination is actually triggered, and it's hard to regulate it, and the person's not dealing in reality. I'm just curious.
Well, first off, let me just ask, is that question on topic?
Well, I really thought it was.
Now,
I actually did, because, I know what you're talking about in terms of you want to know what type of we
talk about attachment styles. That's what we talk about.
Attachment style we have. And then I should have started out with saying, Zoe, I know we spoke about me getting into a clinician and all that, and that's coming, and I guarantee you in less than 6 months will. But anyway, so you got me there, okay? So two seconds.
So look. Wait, hold on.
Curious.
Wait, hold on, brother.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation for weeks now, maybe even months. And you were talking about your niece, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Correct. Cousin, yes, she has a doctorate degree.
Yeah.
She's doing her.
So listen, you gotta.
Yeah, she's trying to set me up.
So
yeah,
you gotta,
right,
you gotta find out what your attachment style is, brother.
I know that, my brother. I'm really in process. To be honest with you, blunt, candid, and just frank, I have a lot on my plate. One of your topics was referring to how God will break you all the way down and get your attention. Well, I'm getting broke all the way down. I had a lot of tragedies of my mother's death, and I'm not going to go into detail on the air. But I'm really managing. So I'm really at a point in my life where I'm on edge, and I can't wait to find out what's going on with my attachment style, as well as Alzheimer's as well, bro.
Really?
I'm really going through a lot.
Man,
yeah, actually,
so let me say this, though. You can't be gone so long then. How about that?
I've been listening, man, off and on.
I know you've been listening, but you can't be gone. You part of the voice of reason. You part of the family here, man.
Yeah, but sometimes I've been going through some things, man, where I just have to lay down and go to sleep. I mean, really, brother, I don't want to share on the air, but I've been going through a lot. And trauma is really, my picture's next to the word trauma in the dictionary.
No.
But you know what? I haven't blown brains out yet.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I will not, brother. That was sarcastic humor. Hey, man, be blessed, bro. Take care.
Hey, man, we love you, J-Dub. Man, we appreciate the call, but don't scare us like that, J-Dub. You matter to us.
Pray for me, my brother, because I'm truly, you just don't know how many times I wanted to call in and share certain particulars. But anyway, I told you once before, we will meet in person and chop it up, and I mean that.
I mean it, too. The next KBLA event, I'm going to be there, bro. And if you're there,
I'm gonna be at the one LA Trade Tech, October 25th.
I don't even know where the calendar is, but you know what? If you gonna be there,
the next one that I know about.
I'll be there.
Next one I know about. Yes, sir.
All right, brother.
Take care, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Right. South Central Los Angeles, man. My brother J. Duh. It all matters, right? And listen. Once you get an understanding of self, right? That's the conceptual part, the thinking. Oh, I'm like this, or oh, I'm a DA, I'm a AP, I'm a FA, whatever. Once you figure that out, that's not something you should hold on to. It's something you should start working towards resolution. Now, from a Western clinical perspective, Carl Jung and, all of my clinician friends always talk about individuation. In my estimation, right, that is the Western version of self-realization. What the mystics and the gurus and, this is what they were teaching, right? You hear the mystic Christians talk about Christ consciousness, where one, reaches a level of consciousness that doesn't contain the ego of their self, like me. Like, I was born in Tennessee. I was raised in the project. Like, all of that goes away, and then there's this union with Source. Now, the Western perspective of that is, the closest to it, is individuation, where you're merging your shadow, which is your subconscious self, with this mask that you wear, the persona, the performance. This is the face that the world sees, right? But here's the thing. It's always following you into your relationships, right? And that's just the shadow piece, shadow work, right? But then let's get back to attachment theory, created by John Bowlby, expanded upon in the 80s by Mary Ainsworth with her strange situation experiment. And then many, many, many other clinicians after her have built on this concept. But let's go deeper. 3 insecure attachment styles out of 4 possible. There's only 1 that is considered secure. And please don't get it confused. Secure doesn't mean perfect. Secure doesn't mean, because you know how we do. The trauma cycle on on TikTok and social media, man, is crazy. We'll start shaming. I test it out as secure. The rest of you guys are, relationally impoverished. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Secure doesn't mean perfect. It just means you were raised in an environment where your primary caregiver was pretty good at being aware of what you needed, your emotional needs. They were attuned, right? Insecure attachment just means inconsistent, abusive, in and out, inside or outside in. Like, it just means you were raised in an environment that you had to figure out how to get your needs met. Now, the cool part about that piece, figuring out how to get your needs met, let's just keep it a buck, because people like to be politically correct, and I just want to just be honest. That conditioning taught you how to manipulate to get what you need, to get what you weren't getting. And the thing that John Bowlby explained was you carry your attachment style, insecure, secure or otherwise, into your adult relationships. Now, if we're talking about the fearful avoidant, chaos as curriculum. How fearful avoidant attachment rehearses trauma to pre-control betrayal. Your psychological insight. Disorganized styles create the very drama they dread to maintain a sense of prediction. I knew you would leave. That's according to Patrick Carnes. I knew you would fail me. They're so hyper vigilant that they're constantly studying and checking, and boy, the slightest fumble, that's proof. Man, when we come forward, the voice of reason is going deeper and deeper.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte. Let's preserve Black land stories before they're lost forever. I want to personally invite you to be a part of something historic. As journalist in residence for the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, I've joined forces with powerhouse attorney and social justice champion George Fothery, the man who helped make history by delivering justice to the Bruce family in Manhattan Beach, securing the first known return of land unjustly taken from Black owners by a local government. That victory was monumental, but it was just the beginning. For generations, Black families have acquired land through grit, faith, and determination, only to lose it through violence, legal loopholes, forced sales, and systematic racism. What's been taken goes far beyond dirt and deeds. It's the erasure of wealth, identity, and legacy. That's why we've launched the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, a national effort to collect, protect, and preserve the stories of Black land lost before they're buried, forgotten, or erased altogether. Because there's power in telling Black stories, there is resistance in remembering, and there's justice in being seen and heard. This is where you come in. We're inviting you to be a part of this historic Black narrative archive. If you or someone you know has experienced land loss, displacement, or forced property sales, your story deserves to be heard and remembered. Your story belongs in this archive. Your truth matters not just to your family, but to our collective future. Visit blacklandlost.org today. Fill out our simple intake form and add your voice to the National Archive of Remembrance, Resilience, and Reckoning. Let's make these stories live on, not in whispers, but on the record. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
That she walked into my life. It was just the kind of thing that was so right on time. After all the love changes, my heart had locked the door. Then that girl released her magic and made me love once more. Ooh, like the warm rays of the sun, her sweet love came shining down on me. Oh, all at once turned my life around, and with one kiss she set me free. She's giving me joy, joy, joy. That girl, she brings me joy. She's giving me joy, joy, joy.
Everything you're talking about, Christine, is all trauma bond. This is why people get stuck. You use the term intermittent reinforcement. And for everyone listening to this, if you've ever played a slot machine, you know what intermittent reinforcement is. You stand there and you keep putting money in something with the idea that it will pay you out from time to time, and maybe someday, if you're lucky, you'll get the jackpot. That slot machine reward schedule, this intermittent reinforcement, is this what we call the stickiest reinforcement schedule. It's the hardest to break away from. It's when somebody's giving you those little bits of good sprinkled in lots of bads, you just keep pulling the slot machine handle. And that right there is the origin of the trauma bond.
Wow. Is that Dr. Romani? Hey, man. Romani don't be playing. Whoo. Lord have mercy. She's cooking with the rarest grease. This is tough, right? This is part of the self-awareness thing that is important for us to know about ourselves when we show up in a relationship. I remember early on in the Voice of Reason journey, I would tell folk, I would say, hey, we're so focused on how our partner shows up that we don't keep an eye on ourselves. We need to show up in a way where we go, hey, wait a minute. Or we need to be more observant of ourselves to kind of like understand how we show up and how we respond and react to others. And again, knowing your insecure attachment style or your attachment style is tantamount to being able to say, oh, wow, I may swing hot and cold. And then have a story behind it. I got this from, the series of events. Then have a plan of action for it. I need to go to therapy to kind of reconcile some things, because if I don't, I'm going to keep showing up in relationships like this. And what's interesting, we were talking before we came full circle, we were talking about the disorganized or fearful avoidance, aka the FAs, and they really represent the yin and yang of it. If you want to use the iconography of the Tao, they really represent the yin and yang. They are avoidant, right? And anxious, right? My philosophical insight, Taoist yin-yang reveals chaos as a teacher of pacing and paradox. What does that mean, pacing and paradox? First off, pacing, take your time. Don't be so reactive, right? The paradox is really a gray area. Do you understand? Life is gray. We want to make it black or white, but life is actually gray. And we have to get comfortable with that ambiguity, right? Many people struggle with it, though, of course. Your spiritual and metaphysical insight here, Tibetan Lojong, right, trains the mind to treat triggers as sacred instructions. We have to start walking into relationships understanding. I'm going to be triggered, but this is an opportunity for me to grow, evolve, and expand. Clinical and empirical insight. EMDR demonstrates that tertiated exposure reduces whiplash cycles and lowers amygdala hyperactivity. We just heard Dr. Tracy talk about the amygdala being that emotion center, and that's very important for us to be aware of, and how we're going to show up, and are we going to be reactive, especially if we are a fearful avoidant. When I come forward, we going back to the phone lines.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. At least 3 police officers are dead and 2 more are critically injured after a shooting in York County, Pennsylvania. Authorities say it happened around 2 p.m. in North Codorus Township as officers served a warrant. Governor Josh Shapiro offered condolences to the families.
This is an absolutely tragic and devastating day for York County and for the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Officials say the gunman was killed by police. A mostly white church in Washington, D.C. is honoring the enslaved people who once labored on its land. The First Congregational United Church of Christ, founded in 1865, unveiled 6 stained glass windows on Sunday titled Forever in the Path. And a federal judge has struck down Jefferson County, Alabama's voting maps, ruling they were drawn to pack black voters into 2 districts and weaken their influence elsewhere. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Do you really know what's in your tap water? We believe your water should support your health, not work against it. Upgrade your home with a LifeSource Whole House system. Clean water from every tap, no salt, no hassle. Call 1-800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com.
Warranty limitations apply.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready?
Drop it!
Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Yo, it's Zoe Williams, the VOR, and I know you're tired of pretty gems with pretty lies, where people seem to scroll more than they sweat. Well, it's time to level up. Welcome to Huff and Puff, where excuses die and champions rise. Smack dab at 1221 North La Brea on the corner of Fairview. This ain't a photo shoot, it's a battleground. Certified achievers in the game. Trainers who grind with you, not post pictures beside you. Whether you're chasing your next personal record or just trying to outrun your past, this is your sanctuary of sweat. No mirrors, no filters, no fluff, just pain, passion, and purpose. Stop talking, start training, huff hard, puff loud, be legendary. Where folks go to war with their weaknesses. Huff and Puff. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilmember Curran Price, inviting you to the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, Saturday, September the 20th, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We've got 4 pavilions, 3 stages of live music, plus food, fun, and a marketplace all along historic Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Ave. Our featured acts this year are Gregory Porter, Pancho Sanchez, and Jasmine Horn at the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, Saturday, September 20th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. along Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Avenue. Come out and bring the whole family because this legendary celebration is free. For more information, go to centralavjazzfest.com. I'm LA Councilmember Curran Price, and I absolutely approve this message.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I feel like Steve Harvey. Like I want to do like a final thought. Like, you see, when God, Steve Harvey's a legend, man. Don't forget my playlist is my co-host.
Yeah. One of the first things that I really got and learned out of working with you back in 2020 was this whole like, need to be special, need to be seen as special. And that it really, I had talked to you about it back then, but it inspired me to write kind of a play off of your amazing book that I recommend to everyone, The Illusion of Money, kind of the illusion of specialness, because I wrote like a one-woman show about it, because really the comedy in it is that you're special by definition as compared to other people. And so, right. And then there's this like arbiter of your specialness that's outside of you. Right. That's like just a random person. I mean, if you actually looked at who you're giving this power to, in your mind, you give it to the right person. But if you just imagine that you're giving it to the barista at Star, and we do, right? We do that. We give it to the people in social media. We give it to the people on YouTube. We give it to anybody. But like, what happens when that person, let's say, dies or goes into a coma? Now there's no way for you to be, deemed special. It's just this like crazy concept once you actually think about it, that you can take your power back of, I deem myself special and I see myself. And that was really the first piece that I learned from you, that I was giving that power away, trying to find a relationship. And, go ahead.
And, well, I would add to it, on top of I see myself as special, adding the frequency of, this is a very Kyle sentence that would have formed in the last 3 years, but you're allowed to not feel special in my body. I mean, is there anything more loving than telling us an energy that doesn't feel special that it's allowed to feel that way? Yeah. Versus covering it up and going, well, let's get special. Like imagine just you're here with this energy and saying, you're allowed to be not special in my body. Like, I love you even if you're not special. Yeah. Now we're really hitting.
Kyle Cease is always cooking, but I don't know. That just didn't resonate in my spirit. And I'm allowed for it not to resonate in my spirit, what he said. But I understood what he meant. Being at peace with the what is of it all. That's very Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti was always in the what is it? Be in the what is, not in the what it should be or what it was supposed to be. Always be in the what is of it all. And I think that's what Kyle Cease, whom I love, I'm just saying, it just didn't resonate in my spirit. I understand what he was saying. But before we came forward, I was talking about something, and I wanted to say it again because it was so powerful. It was the clinical and empirical insight for the fearful avoidant, right, piece, and we were talking about EMDR. The clinical and empirical insight here. EMDR demonstrates that measured exposure reduces whiplash cycles and lowers amygdala hyperactivity. Again, I dated a sister that was She told me she was fearful avoidant, and she also told me that she had trouble regulating her emotions. And I don't be listening. Sometimes I need to listen better. She told me she was fearful avoidant, and she told me she didn't regulate her emotions, but she was fine as frog hair, and I mean frog baby hair. You know the baby hair that they just outlawed in Jamaica? That baby hair was frog fine. Goodness gracious. And I wasn't listening. I should have heard her when she said it. She told me what it was. Let me get my caller in here. Nazarene X, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta back in the building, man. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic? I'm serious.
Hey, bro, we was in the same class. My bad. That sound like Bible study to me.
I'm saying, boy. Fine as satin baby hair. I don't know, silk baby hair. Fine.
Bro,
Lord.
You ain't lying, bro. Man, speaking of, that parchment, I don't know what them pages are made out of. Got the little, what's that? The golden leaf touch. We. Hey, look, I'm just on here, man. I'll maybe tie in what I've also noticed as far as what Google did. I believe it was Google when they created this particular artificial intelligence system. Mind you, this is what I'm into as far as like learning curriculum, syllabus, and all of that. I do have my attachment style and everything, but what I'm getting to is the language. Like, we've had conversations about how language really, it can be a barrier, like a barricade or almost like a jail cell, because we need to really be able to define ourselves. It's good to learn new words, means of expression, add vocabulary and tools and stuff like that to our database. Yet, when we're so preconditioned or ready to let the opinion or even, I dare say, just within context, the insight of someone else to overrule our inner truth or our own ability to define ourselves or have a voice and so forth, I believe it gets tricky. What I'm speaking to is when Google had this system that they created, this is the story basically says they had this simulation that was being observed. These two artificial intelligence systems based on large language models were communicating with one another. Mm-hmm. Now, the observers were watching them, but when it came down to the time where they saw that these systems that were basically built to be autonomous, they created their own language and began to communicate within, like to themselves in a language that the observers didn't understand. So that spooked out the people that were supposed to be controlling the whole situation, and they unplugged it. Mm-hmm. I look at that as a way that even our fears or anything that's so-called holding us back from elevation, this system that we're in, I look at that as the way that they get down. When they look at us relying upon things that are more rooted in our ability to rest within slang, our own power of self-authorship, and so forth. And I believe it does come with a so-called sense of inner security, like the secure attachment style. Yet I still do see how all styles are interwoven. Like, it is the dojo impact. Again, it's the Ubuntu effect and everything for me. So part of it is like, I be wanting to just cut through, kind of get to the proverbial HBCU with the spirit. Like, I want to be where I belong in the first place. Like, however, what I'm here to learn or experience or share, however that's pre-written, I'm with that. It's just that I don't personally have the, like, I need the fraternity thing. Like, I'm not in a relationship to feel like I just want to join a club. You know what I mean? And I'm personally someone that never really I haven't done college in that sense. Yet again, like VOR is like trade school for me. This is counseling, this is therapy, this is church, this is like the whole, like we just gonna get straight to it.
This would be the this would be the Knicks check cashing of trade schools. Don't come here for the therapy, dog. I'm telling you right now. You gotta go see a therapist, bro. You can't. This ain't therapy. I try to tell folk this is not therapy. You have, and I always tell folk, I say, listen, man. Especially for brothers and sisters, I say, listen. Go get a brother or a sister that's also involved in the spirituality, like, you know, some kind of deep spirituality, right? Go, you know, it's the clinical piece and it's the spiritual piece. Like, get somebody that's kind of like they have their one foot in the clinical side and one foot in the spiritual side. I think those types of therapists, in my estimation, and I know a whole crap ton of them, right? And I'm talking about therapists altogether from all walks of life. I've worked with them for over 20 years. And made some great friends, and they've pointed me in the direction of some clinicians that actually help me. But from my experience, a sister that has one foot on the clinical side and one foot in the spirituals, it works wonders, bro. So I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's big, man.
Hey, man, get you one, man. Get you one.
I'm a volunteer Bible study. I don't know, like. Yeah, you can call it what you want. Yeah, I'm gonna take the trash out. I'm gonna be outside with a vest on.
This is not therapy, dog. This is Nick's check cash.
The voice of reason. All right.
Hey, nephew, guess what you just did, brother?
I love you, man. I'm a lot of things, dog. Yeah.
Atlanta is in the building. Oh, I love it. I love it. Listen. When we come forward, I'm going to land this plane. Let's get it.
Relationships. Got you confused? Need some straight talk? This is where you get the unfiltered truth about love, relationships, and everything in between. He breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical advice that actually works. Tackling the questions you're afraid to ask and giving you the answers you need to hear. You're inside the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least likely to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfiresupport@QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey man, that playlist, my goodness. What y'all know about the Average White Band? Ooh. And then I remember when Eric B and Rakim sampled it. Microphone Fiend. Goodness. Then X-Clan sampled it. Yeesh. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know the voice of reason loves to start these conversations. And I love to ask a lot of questions, right, around it. I don't want to answer them. I want you to answer them. If non-attachment meant full contact without clinging, what micro practice moves you from control to communion? Just remember typically where there is an insecure attachment style, there might be some desire to control. And if you're seeking to control your partner or to extrapolate something out of them, by way of manipulating them, that's not communion. Where does your body go numb first when you say, I don't need much? What message lives in that numbness? Wow, that's wild. If your body learned love from chaos, which ceremony, libation or forgiveness, teaches order without oppression? How do you separate nostalgia for intensity, right? How do you separate nostalgia for intensity from a trauma bond? Patrick Kearns. What 3 data points differ? I want to know. What are your thoughts on these questions? When you oscillate, approach, avoid, what shifts if you narrate in nonviolent communication? I feel heat plus fear. I want closeness and room. These are heavy questions. These are not easy questions, but we should think about it. What would a relationship constitution contain if drafted by your nervous system instead of your ideals. Ooh. Haymakers. Haymakers. If you treated your love as a public health asset, what community commitments would you keep clean, renewable, and just? Heavy, heavy stuff. Insecure attachment is not a curse. To me, to Zoe Williams, it's a training algorithm, a survival built method of manipulation that once kept you safe and now begs to be refactored into virtue. In Buddhist terms, the poison is the medicine. In Taoist terms, you do less of what tightens and more of what flows. In clinical terms, the nervous system learned rules. You will keep them until you give it better rules that work in the body, not just biography. That's Babette Rothschild. The map is not the territory. Alfred Korzybski. Your labels, anxious, avoidant, disorganized, are maps. But the dojo, your living reality, that is the territory. Right? The symptom is actually the syllabus. Anxious protest, avoidant withdrawal, and disorganized whiplash manipulate uncertainty. Chasing drags certainty closer. Distance keeps risk away. Oscillation tries to predict pain by pre-creating it. Each style offers a spiritual major and a clinical minor. Anxious, preoccupied, devotion without fusion. The style of manipulation: if I amplify need, you will reduce distance. The hidden vow of the AP: I will not be left again, even if I must leave myself first. The Tao. Using the Tao, here's your counterintuitive reversal. Practice wu-wei texting. Non-doing until your body steadies. You do not earn love. You regulate, then regulate again. Right? Wu-wei texting. Don't text when you feel that they're not responding to me. Wu-wei. Changeless change. Right? You don't earn love, anxious, preoccupied. Sorry, whoever told you that was wrong. If you told yourself that just to survive your early upbringing, you were wrong. It's okay. You don't earn love. You regulate, and then you regulate again. Rename love as attention, right? Levine and Heller. And watch half the behaviors reclassify from affection to protest. Bhakti, devotion. Yes, but offer love itself, not as leverage toward a person. Do you understand? Don't offer love as leverage toward a person. That's not love. That's manipulation. Hey, man, I'm Zoe Williams. I start the conversations. It's up to you to finish them. I love y'all. I'll be back here tomorrow for my Friday. Holla!
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is pushing ahead with his re-election campaign despite trailing in the polls.
Let me do